because a deal was done between this government and the government in Albania. And as a result, because young Albanian men who were coming here illegally were being sent back, they seem to have stopped coming. They have been replaced by people from other parts of the world, of course, so the illegal migrant problem still persists. But let's talk now to Jorida Tabaku, Albanian MP from the Democratic Party of Albania. She's in Tirana right now. Jorida, very good morning to you. Thank you for joining us.
Morning, Mike, and thanks for pronouncing my name rightly.
Well,
that
was my guess, so I'm very glad I got it right. Thank you very much. How are things in Albania, and what sort of a day are you having so far?
Things here are good. We are in an election mode. We have local elections in a couple of weeks. It's a sunny day, and things are
looking up.
Yet to come. Things are looking better in the future than they actually are.
Yes, so. That's good. I wish I could say the same, but I'm not sure I can because it's not so great here. But never mind. We've listened to the Home Secretary Suella Braverman this morning talking about a great many things, including putting more police on the streets and more migrants and trying to stop many more migrants from coming to this country. They're coming from a lot of different places. It was kind of unusual, I think, last year when we discovered so many people were coming from Albania.
Yes, I did hear the interview of the minister a couple of hours ago, I guess.
Yeah.
First of all, let me say you that the comments that the minister made were very, very not typical of Britain. I believe that she has singled out a whole community of Albanians living in UK unjustly. There are around 150,000 Albanians living there. And those have made the living, of course, honestly. There are different groups of people living there, students who are coming to live there. I have studied myself in UK, and I know what a vibrant community of Albanians is there. But of course, there are also some people who do not represent the best of us.
No.
As also in UK, there are people who do not represent the best of you.
Right.
So in every country it happens. And singling out and attacking a whole community only because she was failing to do her job was not right.
No.
It impacted the life of Albanians there, but also people who who are living there did feel the pressure, besides her comments, also in their everyday life.
I mean, I suppose not for me to defend her, but she would say that the people who came most recently illegally were coming for a bad reason, because usually many of them had either been deported before or had been refused entry, and so they could only come illegally, because many of the people you talk about, the 150,000 who are in various communities here, came to this country legally, perfectly legally.
Yes, as I said, not all Brits are good, not all Albanians are good. I am not protecting anyone who does, of course, illegal things. But having around 100,000 immigrants and only 10% of them being Albanian, and singling out that community only because there were failures in the British system, the agreement signed between Albania and Britain resulted in a few numbers of people coming there without anything happening in Albania differently, only things changing in UK, means that she was wrong. It was a failure of the British system of what happened. I am in opposition, and of course I try to see things very negatively here, and I do that in my everyday life, and I'm very much worried that Albanians are living. We have our own problems here, but whatever happened in UK, only because people with problems could not be managed by the government, of course, did not shed a good light also in her work, actually.
So now that they've done a deal, things are very presumably different. The people who are no longer coming, what are they doing in Albania? Are they staying in Albania or are they going elsewhere?
So we have our own problems here, Mike. Albania is a country in transition, 30 years now after communism. We are a country who is going towards Europe now. We are in the accession process. We have high unemployment. We have, of course, corruption. Rule of law has problems, inequality. And people who were coming to UK were coming from poor areas in the north of the country. Because of lack of opportunities here, because of the system here, they were trying to seek an opportunity in UK. But nothing has changed here. We have the same government, same opposition. We didn't have elections since last year, and I see numbers dropping. In the first 4 months of last year, 440 people came with illegal boats. These 4 months, 52 people came with illegal boats. Telling me that the way the Brits were managing the process, but also the problems there with visa application, with welcoming immigrants, with opportunities for immigrants there. I was shocked, Mike, to hear that kids were being kidnapped out of welcoming homes in Britain, and half of those were Albanian. Of course, this is not a problem for our problem. It's your system's problem.
Yes, but it's also a problem because many of those kids were being kidnapped by older Albanian men, we believe, and were being sort of put into gangs to work in the drug business.
I believe a lot of things, but I don't have the facts. There is a problem with Albanian organized crime, and there is a problem which the government should acknowledge with Albanian trafficking of drugs, and there is something that we have to deal with it, and the government should see the figures and deal with it. But whatever happened with the process that brought to the agreement, of course, it was not a problem of Albanians who do not have an opportunity here and see going to UK as an opportunity. I believe that if we would have seen this problem since the beginning as it was, if we would have not singled out a whole community, and if we have not taken our own responsibilities, me as a politician, I take my responsibilities here because I consider myself one of the sources of the problem, because people are living also because of us, politicians in Albania. If this was done by the British government in time, the numbers would have not increased. If the channel was actually being controlled and scrutinized better, if agreements with bordering countries, so with France, as it happened now, was done previously in time, I don't believe the situation would have escalated so.
Yes, it really does seem to have escalated. Let's have a look at what Suella Braverman said this morning to Julia Hartley-Brewer.
This government is introducing legislation that the British people overwhelmingly want. They want us to stop the boats. Our measures that I've introduced will design a scheme whereby if you arrive here illegally, you'll be detained and swiftly removed to a safe country like Rwanda or to your home country if it's safe. I urge my colleagues in the House of Lords to get behind these measures. They are absolutely vital for us to stop the boats. They're vital to stop people making this treacherous journey in the first place. I describe our measures as humanitarian at core, actually, because people are paying tens of thousands of pounds to people smuggling gangs. They're dying on the channel in a hope to get to a life in the UK. They should not be making that journey in the first place.
They should not be making that journey in the first place. I sense that you don't have a lot of sympathy for Suella Braverman and her policies and what she's doing. And it does seem to be a ridiculously complicated story, when you would think that if they can do a deal, for example, with Albania, why can they not do a deal with other countries as well?
First of all, let me say you that the bill, I find the bill discriminatory. It is discriminative towards people who come there and be deported to Rwanda or other countries. UK has a long tradition with ethnicity, is rich in culture. I am sure that they can manage and do things better than this. I see this also related with the visa application process. Myself, I took a visa, I believe it was January, and the procedure was endless. Right. I have a diplomatic passport. I've lived in UK. There were 300 people in the queue. I don't know the numbers of people who are who have applied for a visa and have actually got a visa. But I see the process very, very, very problematic. This problematic process forces people to use other channels, sometimes even criminal routes, to pay a very high amount of money. And let me assure you that the sums paid going to UK are the salary of a normal Albanian during the whole year. So they kind of have family there, they have links there, most probably they want to continue a life in UK. If the visa application was faster, the procedures were swifter, I believe that people would have go there, see the opportunity, see that they cannot do there a lot, see that most probably there is not an honest way of living in UK, and they would come back. And if also from the British side, increased control and monitoring would have been higher since at the beginning of this process, I believe things would have been differently. And I am emphasizing another thing, Mike, again. Things have not changed in Albania. Same government, same problems, same unemployment, same high inequality. Things have changed only from your side of the border.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because even 10 or 15 years ago, Britain used to actually deport more people, more illegal immigrants than they do now, because the whole system is basically broken. They don't seem to be able to do anything.
Yes, and the language they use, the system in itself, but also the methods being used with this migration bill, I believe that are not very adapted to the British way of living and to what Brits are normally doing. You are very well known for accepting different ethnicities.
Yes,
I mean,
but that was a long. But that was
made
also
it up to a prime minister's being from.
But that was probably about 10 million people ago. You see, that's the thing that has changed here.
Absolutely.
Is that there's a lot more people living in Britain now than there were, and so perhaps it's not able to be quite as welcoming as it once was because the numbers are changing so much.
Absolutely, I totally agree with you that Albania is not the same. Britain is not the same, and actually, I want Albanians to live here. I don't see them immigrating to UK as a solution.
Right.
I see them going to UK as a cry for help, as a cry for help from our side. What should we do as politicians? But in them going to UK, then as we discussed. I believe that things would have been treated differently.
Well, we hope so, and hopefully they'll find a proper solution to all of it in the meantime.
I hope so. I was reading before this interview, actually, that the Albanian community there does actually create a lot of added value in terms of not only students, but also entrepreneurs, doctors, a whole range of engineers, lawyers. So also for UK, who is asking right now for labor, a specialized one, especially doctors, nurses, Albanians are giving a great contribution there. I would hope that they would give it to Albania. I would hope that my party would govern, not be in opposition and offer a different reality. But I can assure you that no one wants to leave happily this.
Do you think a lot of the Albanian community, which is here now, will return to Albania then, when Albania becomes a better place to live?
I hope so. I hope that, see, Mike, Albania has the third biggest diaspora in the world. Having the third biggest diaspora in the world means that also our economy is losing a lot. Is losing because we are also, as I said before, losing people who are now skilled persons in their areas, are real professionals in their areas. So I believe that going out has never been an option for myself and for people close to me, and I believe that sooner than later also for Albanians would not be an option. The reasons why Albanians leave are linked with a lot of the criteria we have to fulfill to undergo our EU integration process, fight against corruption, increase the rule of law. So I believe that for us, working to improve these areas would also mean working to keep Albanians in the country.
Yeah, I think so. Good to talk to you, Jorida. Thank you very much indeed. Jorida Tabaku, the Albanian MP from the Democratic Party of Albania.